Again and again, Boris Johnson told the public and Parliament that in here, they followed the rules. But his investigators were told by a Number 10 insider just how untrue that was.
Parties and end-of-week gatherings all continued as normal. This was all part of a wider culture of not adhering to any rules. Number 10 was like an island oasis of normality.
Damning testimony about the culture inside Boris Johnson's Downing Street, revealed by a junior Number 10 official blowing the whistle to this committee. They said that even though they set the rules for the rest of the country, they were slow to be enforced inside Number 10. The only nod to the rules was a warning to be mindful of the cameras on the way out. It was all, they said, a pantomime.
This, the most notorious example of that culture. Boris Johnson in November 2020, during a lockdown, surrounded by alcohol. The committee not buying his explanation.
Even now, after the publication of this report, Boris Johnson maintained that he had to go to leaving dues in Number 10 to boost morale. But the committee disagrees. They say that the COVID rules and guidance at the time did not allow a socially undistanced event to proceed purely for the purposes of maintaining staff morale. And this would have been clear to Mr Johnson.
It was a pattern of behaviour, the report says. The then Prime Minister standing in the Commons making statements he must have known were false.
All guidance was followed completely during Number 10. Whatever happened, the guidance was followed and the rules were followed at all times. I believe that the events in question were within the guidance and were within the rules. I came to this House and said, in all sincerity, that the rules and guidance have been followed at all times.
That was 4 of the 8 times the committee thought that Boris Johnson had misled Parliament. And after trawling through mountains of evidence, this is the crux of the argument that they reached at the end. They say they found it highly unlikely that the former Prime Minister could have believed the assertions he made to the Commons at the time that he was making them. Many aspects of Mr Johnson's defence are not credible. Taken together, they form sufficient basis for a conclusion that he intended to mislead.
Deliberate deception, combined with a campaign of intimidation against the committee, leaving this former Prime Minister facing an unprecedented punishment. Sam Coates, Sky News.